every day founders go through this decision-making process, right? When you have the luxury of figuring out that you can do what you want with your time, and you have the luxury of choice and opportunity, that can become quite jarring sometimes, because when you have a few routes forward, it's really difficult to know what to pick. And I'm recording this video today in the documentary process of building a new company and figuring out what to do next, and showing what real life entrepreneurship is like. I had a bit of an impasse today, a bit of a I guess a fork in the road moment. Not a formal one, but one that I wanted to break down with you and discuss here. Now, spoiler alert, I don't have the answer to what I'm about to talk about yet. But hopefully over the coming videos, and maybe potentially through talking to some of you, I can figure out the answer to that. And that is what to do next, frankly. So, as you know, I'm building a new company, and that company has a really big mission to democratize entrepreneurship for everyone, everywhere, and put a virtual co-founder in the pocket of every potential creator on the planet. That's not a small vision, that's a massive vision, and that's going to take a huge amount of effort, a huge amount of money, and a huge team to bring it to life. That's a big journey, and it's a to use a metaphor here, it's a train that once it leaves the station, I won't be able to stop it, and it's probably going to be a 5 to 10 year journey. So before that train leaves the station, I've been considering what to do next and how to tackle that process. Now, today, I had a conversation with somebody, and this isn't the first time I've had this conversation with people. I've had this similar conversation with other people. But this person today had said to me, hey, there's an opportunity here for a job role that I think you'd be perfect for. They work within this company already, by the way, and this job pays quite a substantial salary, over 6 figures potentially, to be exact. Now, to be really clear, that's not a number I've ever paid myself. It's not a number that I've ever seen, really. That is a lot more than I currently pay myself through the current businesses that I run. This is very tempting. It's something that you shouldn't ignore. One, it's completely flattering, first and foremost, to know that the work that I've done over the last 10 years has got me to this point. Would I have been able to be worth potentially that amount of money by now if I'd stayed on a quote-unquote normal path? Maybe. What does even a normal path mean? I don't know. That's up for discussion. But it's good, humbling, rewarding to hear that that number is something that you can be associated with. Would I even get that job if I applied for it? I have no idea, but this person works inside that company and has said that I'd potentially be quote-unquote perfect for that role, and that's how much it would likely be worth. That's not something to be scoffed at, and it's something that brings me to a bit of a fork in the road. What do I do next? Well, the intention was to raise a small amount of money, potentially a large amount of money, relatively speaking, in the world of raising investment, to build an early version of the thing that I want to bring and put into the world, and then use that to create some traction to possibly raise a little bit more money to build again and keep going, and eventually create this massive tool and this massive product and this massive platform that can really, genuinely and fundamentally impact the way that businesses are starting growing. That's one way forward. Another way forward might be to take a role that pays me a multiple, not just an additional amount, but a multiple of what I currently pay myself, and use the surplus that I'm not normally used to fund the development of such a product in the first place. Now, if I did that, then I wouldn't necessarily be changing my financial circumstances, but I'd be investing in an asset that would potentially be worth a lot more. I could potentially offset some of it and do both. Would the employer be okay with me building something outside of work? Do they even have a say? Does it matter if I'm focused in that role? I don't know. But I think this is a conversation that opens up a conversation for all of us that are thinking about building something. In 2023 and beyond, thanks to the last 2.5 years of COVID and lockdown circumstances, side hustles have become really prominent. And as employers, it's weird for us to be able to try and control what people are doing outside the workplace. I think, and it's my opinion only, that, I think employers should be enabling the entrepreneurship of their staff if they can, because it helps them to learn more and it allows them to become better staff in the workplace as well. It makes them feel more valued. Google famously have a 20% rule where on Fridays, I believe, staff are allowed to explore new projects and opportunities. I imagine, and I'm sure you can Google this very quickly, ironically Google this very quickly, but some of those projects have probably become successful Google projects in of themselves. So actually it pays to enable entrepreneurship for staff. And maybe that's an opportunity here going forwards. But yeah, I don't have the answer to this yet. This is the whole point of this documentation process, is that I'm not here to give the answers. I'm here to share the journey of the questions and the queries and the experiences I'm asking myself along the way. There is one potential future, which is raising some money, building this thing, forgetting this conversation and opportunity ever existed. There is another potential future where I have that conversation, move into that role and use the surplus in cash to build everything that I've built in a better way by hiring and contracting great people to help me do so whilst working. I've seen other people do that incredibly well. One of them being a good friend of mine, Abadesi, who, give her a shout out, runs Hustle Crew, and has done so whilst building a really great track record of speaking, a career out of doing so, and working at a C-level position in a massive tech company. So it's not that I'm thinking out of the box here to a point where it's completely unfeasible and impossible. I've seen other people do it and it is completely viable. But as they say, focus is key, and especially if this is such a big vision for such a potentially massive company at such a really interesting time, because AI is taking off, and if I don't pull that trigger now, maybe we miss the mark and we miss the chance to do it, and somebody maybe takes that vision and does it themselves. So yeah, something to sleep on. I don't think I'll have the answer today. I don't know whether I'll have the answer tomorrow, but I think it's going to be a few conversations away before I figure out what to do next. At the very least, it's just humbling to know how much it'd be worth on the open market. Every now and again, someone tells me that anyway. I remember having a bit of a wobble about a year ago and somebody saying, hey, if you were to go and get a normal job, quote unquote, a normal job, you'd easily be able to take home 100K. And I'm like, that's insane. That's more than I've ever earned. And it's more than, pretty much everyone I know has earned. It's alien to me. And as someone who is currently single and renting in a city that's getting more and more expensive, those sorts of numbers are really attractive because they enable you to do really interesting things, take more holidays, build up the pension that I've sacrificed for a long time. So yeah, open-ended video this week, and I want to keep this as short as possible. So I'm going to wrap up here. If you have any thoughts or questions about how you would maybe tackle this going forward, I'd love to see your thoughts in the comments. This isn't a cheap engagement tactic. I would genuinely love to see your thoughts in the comments as to how you would approach this, because it may help me make my decisions too. Who knows? That job might not even exist. They might not even like me, and I may not ever even apply for it. But yeah, curious. So let me know what you think. And if you want to hear anything else from me, any other topics or anything else about the experience so far, then I am more than happy to share. I'm planning to do another video soon where I take the Rebel Meetups brand, the meetups that started Different or Rihanna originally as a company, and spin that out into its own organizational entity. And what I'm hoping to do is within a day build a new brand for it, a new website for it, and create the assets that are required to make this an autonomous, semi-autonomous, nothing's fully autonomous entity. And show you how I do that, so that you can potentially do something similar yourself for your own companies. Now, taking a day-long video and turning it into something that's actually watchable is going to be difficult. But maybe it's a live stream. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge soon. Anyway, stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in. And again, if you have any comments, questions, put them below. Like, share, subscribe. Really helps the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one.